Do you ever have those days where you feel like you're running around with your head cut off because you don't know in what direction to go? You have so much anxiety and so much stress, and you just aren't sure what to do. You try eating, but you're not hungry. You can't sleep. You have just too much on your mind that you really don't know what to do. You can call your therapist if you can get a hold of them. Sometimes you can even be so lucky as to get an appointment, and you have to be pretty desperate and pretty, upset to be able to get an appointment. And I have, where my old therapist or my old psychiatrist, we would call it paperwork. It's a time that she would have open, that she would usually be doing paperwork, and we just called it that. I don't know if it was just a slot where they have open for emergencies, and I would call up and I'd be really upset, and I would say I really need to talk to her, and I'd usually get in. There were times where I would live 20 minutes or so away, and she would be like, well, she's got an opening in 10 minutes. I raced my ass to get there, and it would be more than 10 minutes, but they would still, see me. They were really good. Down here, you see your psychiatrist via meet like this, video chat is what I call it, and it's 15 minutes, and that's every 2 or 3 months. How are they supposed to get to know you? How are they supposed to figure you out? And apparently they kind of go by the notes that your therapist makes and the feedback from that. How she reads about all of her patients that way is beyond me. It's just, I find it fucking stupid. Sorry, but I don't know how they expect, she's like, we'll just put you on this and we'll just put you on that, and I just feel like a guinea pig. And tomorrow we find out when David's surgery is for his heart, so that's looming over both of our heads. I was able to actually make dinner tonight, and that's because I didn't want the meat to go bad, even though it wouldn't. It was vacuum sealed, and it was in the fridge, and it can be in there for like 2 weeks or something like that. But the food we do have, we can't afford to waste it, because we're both on disability, and he gets quite a bit more than me, his income. So I use that to pay the big bills. I pay the smaller bills and groceries. And now I have to shop for a whole month worth of groceries. So you really have to make it last, and you can only spend so much. And I shop at Walmart online for pickup, and you can watch up at the corner and see your total as you go. So all of a sudden I will fill my cart, figuratively, and when I get to the end, I'll go through and see what's in there. And let's say I ordered 2 of these. Well, we can do with 1, so I'll knock down, and I'll do that through the whole thing just to get that total down, because it's ridiculous what we spend in a month, only because of the income. We don't have the income to afford a lot of groceries. So I try to pick things that are freezer, because we have 19.2 cubic foot freezer. It's huge. And so, I get stuff that can go in the freezer, because our refrigerator is like 16 cubic feet. It's really tiny. And the reason being is because of the space that we had to put it in. It was a tiny space, so we had to get a small fridge. The whole bottom shelf and drawers are all Bearded Dragon food, because they're pretty spoiled. but we ended up buying another little tiny refrigerator. We just call it a refrigerator. But no, we ended up buying this little refrigerator. They told us how big it was, and it was a lot smaller than what they so-called measured or whatever. And I tried to find a label on it of how big it was, and I don't think I found the label, but it's tiny. And but it serves its purpose. I mean, I can put stuff in there. We could put soda, or, it's like soda and chips and candy and things like that. Those are all treats. If I can get the chicken, the beef, stuff, the fish, things that I can freeze. I have a food saver, and I vacuum seal and freeze a lot. I mean, we got corn on the cob, we have brats, we have chicken, we have beef, and I'll just buy that every month. Just maybe one tray of beef stew meat, a bag of 4 or 5 pound bag of chicken breasts or chicken drumsticks. And if I buy that every month, it builds it up. Because, I'll buy other stuff that we will eat. I'll buy 2 pizzas. I'll buy, they're not fish sticks, they're like fish fillets. But they're like fish sticks. They taste better, though. I'll buy just things that can get thrown in the freezer and won't spoil. Or I'll buy stuff that I can vacuum seal and put in the freezer and build up, our food, so we don't have to. I mean, I'll buy a 5-pound bag of potatoes, and I don't freeze those. I don't think I know how to freeze those, but I have a huge bag of garlic, fresh garlic, that I could, I don't know what you call that, but I just don't feel like doing it. Things are just, the depression is kicking in, and then I get depression on top of depression because of the seasonal depression, and then the depression that comes from being bipolar. And then I have the issues with the borderline and the PTSD, where things will happen and that'll affect me. So everything kind of hits at once. And yeah, there are times I just want to curl up in bed and stay there and don't ever come out. But it gets really hot. So I end up uncovering and just kind of going on my phone and looking at things. And it was like 2 nights ago, or last night or 2 nights ago, I don't remember. But I'm like, I panic. Oh shit, I gotta write out the bills. And I freak out. It's like 3 or 4 days, not 34, 3 or 4 days before bills are due, and I panic. I guess because the one time at our old house where we used to live, it was summer, and I think the electric went out because we didn't have the money to pay the bill or something like that. And I panicked. I'm like, oh my God. Or there are times where I've screwed up where I freaking hate autopay. I hate it because we get paid the 1st and the 3rd, and they like to make the autopay for like the 6th or the 7th. And by then I've got this all checked off at the bank, and it's still showing up, but I kind of forget about it. And I'm like, oh, we got this money, we can go get this. And we'll go get it, and all of a sudden it'll hit, the bank. And I'll be like, oh shit, I forgot about it. I just don't like autopay because I like to be in control. I like to have control of our finances. He has his checking and savings. I have my checking and savings. We have to have it that way. And, we live 20 or 30. Oh, goddamn. I hope that didn't go off on my recording. I turned my screensaver off because that kept going on. I have bubbles. I love bubbles. As you can see, I love donuts. These are pajamas. It's a pajama top, and it has bottoms, and it's just really comfortable. But it's fun. I like wearing stuff that's fun. I'm a fun person, but I'm very emotional. My emotions run deep, so deep that I bury them, and I try not to let anybody know about them because it's vulnerability, and I have issues with being vulnerable, and confrontation I have a problem with too. And I guess I found out yesterday that the rambling is part of the borderline personality disorder. And it's like, I'm almost 53. I can't even talk. It's like I need to get a drink. But the rambling is the borderline, and I've been that way forever, but nobody's ever helped me not do it. How am I not gonna ramble? How am I talk real fast. I talk in circles. This is me. And he asked me if I want to get out of my head. And it's like, how are you going to change me after all this time? And am I going to want to change? I'm really conflicted. Because this is who I am. And you want to change me? I guess really the question I have to ask myself is it in my best interest? That would be a question I would have to ask him. To him, I'm referring to Tyler, my therapist. That would be the question I'd want to ask him is this in my best interest? And he'd say, well, what do you think? Do you want to change? Do you like being like this? There are things, that don't bother me. The talking, I've always talked a lot, but he's talking about how I talk in circles. I'll start on one topic and go to another and go to another and go to another and go back around to the beginning all over again. And does it bother me? No, because it's just how I am. It's who I am. Oh, who gives a shit? But I'm gonna keep this video short. I'm just sort of not in the mood. There's so many things going on that I just don't feel like talking. That's like people who know me would say, you what? You don't want to talk? My best friend, she's been trying to get a hold of me. Well, actually, she doesn't get a hold of people. I get a hold of her, and all of a sudden she's like, oh, we gotta FaceTime and this and that. And she watches this and sees this. Well, I've been a little busy and a little bit, bipolar and a little bit of borderline and a little bit of everything. And I just don't. I know she would cheer me up, and I know it would make me laugh, but I just kind of want to be solitary and just kind of be by myself, if you want to call that. Before I couldn't record before because the dogs were going nuts, and all 3 dogs are great, the big ones. Now the little one, she has a bark because she's tiny. She's like 2 or 3, maybe 3 pounds now, but she's probably about 5 months, and she has the bark that could break glass. It is a squeal. It's just ear piercing. It's just, oh my god. It's like, Polly, please. Hopefully she'll grow out of it, or it won't be so piercing. But yeah, she's a little fart, and she's fabulous. She's a great little puppy. But man, her bark is just, like I said, could break glass. It's so loud. So, have a good night, and hope your day is good.